All right. Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Dan, president of the Functional Aging Institute. And thanks for joining me here on this Friday afternoon. And for those of you listening on the recording, whatever day and time it is. So I'm going to talk about functional aging specialist workshops and Functional Aging Institute events today. My goal is to keep this to about 25 to 30 minutes and allow those of you that are on live to pepper me with questions if you have any. One of the top questions we get at the Functional Aging Institute is about certifications and about workshops. Do I need to do a workshop? Can I do the whole course online? And so I'm going to try to go over that and also demystify the workshop and what you get. So I'm fresh back from a trip to Europe where I led the workshop in Barcelona and had a number of people go through the certification workshop in Barcelona, which was fantastic. And then I went to London and I watched one of our master trainers teach the workshop in London. And FAI is taking off in the UK, which is really exciting. So because people internationally want to do workshops and they want to do the certification, I wanted to really host this webinar just to allow people to get their full questions answered about our events, our workshops, what workshops right for you, and all those sorts of things. So let's dive in. I'm going to jump off camera here. I'll come back later when we get to Q&A, but I want you to focus on the screen and not be looking at my mug. So I'm on our website right now, which is functionalaginginstitute.com, and if you've never picked up our free functional training starter kit, you can see that right here. I'm highlighting it, I believe. So all you have to do is enter your email. It's a free starter kit, kind of gives you the overview of the functional aging training model. We've got a manual and a video there. It's probably about an hour video where Cody kind of breaks down the whole functional aging training model and gives you really a good overview of the functional aging specialist and why it's a certification like no other out there. And there's also a pretty extensive manual on the physiology of aging and why training is different as we age. So that's totally free. I encourage you to grab that resource, have your trainers grab that resource. Obviously that gets you on our email list, which you're probably already on if you're attending this webinar or getting the recording. But if you've never taken a look at that, I encourage you to do so. So I'm going to jump over to my PowerPoint. You're going to notice the screen is the same. I just took a snapshot of our website. So again, functionalaginginstitute.com. So Cody Sipes, my business partner, the two of us founded Functional Aging Institute in 2013. We're just a 3-year-old company, and we've only been certifying individuals since 2014. So we like to think we're still in our infancy, but we are exploding at the moment. And as of today, I noticed we're on 5 continents around the world, so that's really exciting. So if you're listening to this recording at any time in the future and you're in South America, please pass the test and get certified. I know we have some people in South America that have picked up the program, but they haven't passed the exam yet. So please do that. Be the first person on your continent. So that's really cool that we're 2 years old and we're already on 5 continents around the world. We have almost 600 trainers certified worldwide with over 1,400 in the program. We expect to break through 1,000 by the end of this year. So that's me. That's who's talking to you right now. I run Miracles Fitness, our personal training studio here in Indiana. If you ever want to visit, let me know. We do host training days here typically once or twice a year, but if you're in the area and you want to stop by, please let me know. So I'm going to give you a few highlights, few overviews, and then we're going to jump into what our workshops look like. So when Cody and I started this, we basically said there is the perfect storm on the horizon for the fitness industry. The numbers are gigantic, the need is huge, the want is huge, and the finances actually are overwhelming. The baby boom and older population have the money and they have a huge need, and frankly they're just underserved and untapped. The fitness industry is not reaching out to these folks. And that's really a global phenomenon that we've seen. In fact, as we've traveled to Europe and Asia and other countries, the vast majority of developed countries are seeing this aging phenomenon. They're also seeing that their aging population has health needs, has health and fitness wants, and has quite a bit of disposable spending power. So So it really is the perfect storm. And it's not a storm that's going away. This is a perfect storm that we're going to ride for the next 20 to 30 years. For most of us and just about everyone listening to this webinar, it's going to last your entire career. In fact, when you look at the 65 and older population explosion, you see it doesn't even taper off when we hit 2050. So I hope by 2050 that I will be retiring myself, and many of you probably as well. So it's not like this is a short-term trend. This is here to stay. When we look at the baby boom generation, the baby boom population, we're primarily talking about those born 1946 to 1964, so 18 years post-World War II, and those folks are currently turning 52 to 70 here in 2016. So the older boomers are turning 70, but don't make the mistake of calling them seniors. Again, the mature market needs fitness. They have so many health and physical conditions, but they don't necessarily think they want fitness. What they really want is what fitness can give them, right? They want health and longevity. They want peak experiences. They want function, energy, productivity. They want to be able to keep working and volunteering. They want what fitness can give them. They don't necessarily think they want a gym, a health club, a personal trainer. They just want the outcomes, and we have to remember that. And so when I talk about our workshops and our certification, you'll see that it's really driven with that in mind. Again, the mature market can afford fitness. Typically, the number one objection when selling fitness programs is cost. The baby boomers have about 75 to 77% of the U.S. financial assets, and the statistics are pretty similar in other developed countries. The baby boom population is the wealthiest. They have the most spending power, so they can afford fitness programs. So who are we talking about when we say you should look at a certified functional aging specialist program or a workshop? What sort of individuals are you going to be able to train? And typically we tell people in the workshop and the certification program, you're going to be able to train the fit individuals, the independent, and the frail. Our program is not for dependent individuals, so if you're working in a full-time nursing facility, skilled nursing where people are needing help to and from the bathroom, we're really not talking about those individuals. And we don't really touch on the elite athlete. That's a small percentage of the population that's going to continue to grow, but most of those people are already engaging in fitness services. So we're really talking about the huge population that is not seeking fitness services, but has a huge need and a huge want for it. So the Certified Functional Aging Specialist, what is it? People ask this all the time. In fact, one of the questions we get is, should I start with the certification or the certificate program? The Certified Functional Aging Specialist has been approved for CECs by ACE, AFA, NFPT, ACSM, NASM, AFN, and SCW. We are working currently on getting NSCA. It's 13 educational modules. Those are made up of things like fitness assessment, physiology of aging, functional exercise movements, program design, warm-up, flexibility. So there's several different modules, and those modules are made up of approximately 5 hours of video and 5 hours of reading. You probably could get the reading material done in 3 to 4 hours, but we tell people it's about 10 to 12 hours of content. Now, in fact, all of these organizations have approved it for 1.0 or 10 hours of continuing ed based on the reading and the video. There are 22 videos in total and 12 manuals in total. So some modules have multiple videos. Some modules have multiple manuals. Some modules have manuals only. Some have videos only. It sort of depends. So on the flexibility per se, we have videos only. We don't have a manual on the flexibility. We just show you some flexibility programs. So that's the functional aging specialist. And now people then ask, well, do I have to take a workshop? No, you do not have to take a workshop to be online. In fact, we've never set foot in Australia, and we have over 60 certified functional aging specialists in Australia, which is fantastic. They've never had to travel to us, and we haven't had to travel to them. Cody and I are both PhDs, and we felt like we needed to build a course that was completely, fully independent, full education online. And so you have us teaching you in video and manual. You don't need to take a workshop. Now, some people like to take workshops. We get that. They want to come to a live event. And so if that's the case and you want to take the Functional Aging Specialist Certification Workshop, you absolutely can do that. And what you want to do is just hop on our website, functionalaginginstitute.com, and click on the Workshops tab. So I'm going to jump over to our website again and make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. So from our homepage right at the top here, we have a Workshops tab. I click on Workshops, and you can see the workshops actually are going to give you a lot more bang for your buck in terms of continuing ed. You can see we have a functional aging specialist coming up in Orlando, Florida on October 20th. We have one coming up October 28th in Washington, D.C. at our Functional Aging Institute D.C. event. In Noblesville, Indiana, we have both the functional aging specialist and the functional aging group exercise specialist on back-to-back days. We have one in Lowell, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston in November. Both options here are, this one is for students, so for college students, and then this one is for regulars. So, and we're always updating this. In fact, we're about to add one for December, I believe, in South Korea. So you want to come back and check this page off. And now if you notice here, it says continuing ed ranging from 16 CECs from SCW all the way up to 1.8 or 18 with ACE, because the workshop has been rated anywhere from 6 to 8 hours depending on the organization. Some of them are 8, some of them are 7. And then when you pass the exam, you get the additional 1.0 or 10 CECs. So the workshop gives you a little more bang for your buck on continuing ed. But some people ask, well, do I need to do the workshop to pass the exam to get certified? Absolutely not. In fact, I do tell some people the workshop may be disappointing to you if you have done all of the material. If you've gone through all the educational models, all the video, all the reading, when you come to the workshop, we're still covering the same content. And so typically what I tell people is we're going to do about 3 to 4 hours of the video live and in person. We're going to take about 5 hours of the reading material and turn that into about 1 hour of lecture. And then we're going to do about 1 to 2 hours of hands-on stuff together. So it's kind of a learn by doing. But the workshop people don't get new content. They don't get additional content that isn't in the online course. The big thing you get is you get interaction with the instructor. You also get interaction with each other. And we do spend about an hour together doing program design. So you have other people to do program design with, which when you do the online course, you have to do essentially on your own. So you're designing programs. So that's the big difference. The workshops are not required, though the nice bang for your buck is typically the workshops are the same price as the certifications. Sometimes at certain conferences, it's even a discount over the online course, and you get the full online course included. So if you have the ability to take a workshop, it's a great value because you're going to get the full online course plus a full day of teaching. Now, keep in mind, you're going to have to, free up a full day to do it. So I always tell people, if travel's an obstacle, travel's a cost, do the online course. Don't feel like you have to attend a workshop. So I just want to highlight sort of our functional aging training model and then talk about a couple other events we have going on, and then I'll open it up for questions. So the functional aging training model is really at the core of the functional aging specialist and everything that we're doing at the Functional Aging Institute. And so really what we like to say is that it's where functional training meets the physiology of aging. And so there's a functional aspect to it, there's a physiology aspect to it, and there's a key component of aging to it. And so it's not just functional training, which is why we put the word aging in there. And so the FAT model takes functional training philosophies, strategies, and techniques, and we apply them specifically to meet the needs and wants of mature adults. And so we start to ask the challenging questions of, is this exercise still functional for someone if they're 65 and their goals are to do what they've told me, right? And so certain exercises might be very functional for one 65-year-old and not very functional for the next, because we want to specifically apply it to the needs of that mature adult. And so it gets a little bit more complex, and sometimes we get into some heated discussions over what's the most appropriate exercise, where's the risk reward ratio on certain movements, because for some individuals there isn't much of a reward in certain high dynamic jumping activities, and for others there really are. And so that really is a huge distinction between our certifications and we believe any other program out there that claims it's teaching you how to train older adults. And so that's a model that we have developed and really honed over the last 10 years and really dug into what the research and the evidence shows is working. And so last couple slides I'd like to show people that we've really gotten excited about are just the concept of how complex human function really is, and why it is that so many fitness programs and even personal training certifications just don't measure up, because we get trained in a very small area, right? So musculoskeletal, we have joint integrity, strength, speed, power, endurance. We might get a lot of training in that from some personal training certifications. We might even get some cardiorespiratory, right? How do we train the aerobic system, then the anaerobic system, and the creatine phosphate system. We might even get some balance training, but most personal training certifications don't get complex into balance and mobility, and they certainly don't get much into the cognitive function and neuromuscular, proprioception, coordination, motor control are things we tend to have to learn on our own. And then if we really dive into these things and say, well, you know what, strength, speed, power, balance, they're actually a lot more complex than this. And so we go several levels deeper, and then we start talking about obviously the aging component, and we look at balance and we realize it's very complex. Postural strategies can be at the hip, can be at the foot, the ankle, stepping strategies, multi-sensory dynamics from vision to vestibular to somatosensory. I mean, just look how complex just balance is. And then we think about a 70-year-old who has a strength deficit that we need to address, which is impacting all these balance components, and we realize it's a really complex process, which is why we think the functional aging specialist prepares people really well for that. So that's the training side of things. So if you're a trainer or a business owner and you're thinking, boy, I got to get certified, I got to get more knowledge in this, the functional aging specialist, our upcoming workshops are things you want to check out. Again, you want to go to functionalaginginstitute.com, our homepage, and then just visit our workshop tab periodically. We're always updating the calendar. Like I said, in October we have 4 workshops coming up. In November we have one in the Boston area, and in December looks like we're going to have one in Seoul, South Korea, so if you happen to be on that side of the world. But we're always adding them. If you have interest in being a host, you can host a workshop and bring us to you. That's perfectly a great idea. So it's actually fairly easy. The simplest thing to do is just reach out to Celia, contact us directly, and she can give you all the details on that. But hosting a workshop is fairly simple. It's a one-day workshop. We basically just need a facility that can house 12 to 15 fitness professionals. By hosting, you get a complimentary registration, and in some cases you can get more than one complimentary registration. So we're always looking for workshop hosts, so if you have an interest, please reach out to us on that. It's not difficult to be a workshop host. We have 4 master trainers at the moment in the United States. We have 1 in the Australia region, 2 in the UK region, and we're looking to add 1 in the Asia region when I go to Korea. So we are offering master trainers around the world. So really, no matter where you are, we probably can get a master trainer to you. So don't and if you're in somewhere obscure like Hawaii or the Cayman Islands, please let us know. I'd be happy to figure out a way to get to you. So a couple other events that people have asked about. How is this different than a workshop? We have an event coming up in DC called the Mature Marketing Mastery Workshop. This is the day after a functional aging specialist training certification. So we have the trainer certification on the 28th, which is really for people to learn the science and the training aspect. How do I train the older clients? But then on the 29th, this is really a business owner's event. And if you go to functionalaginginstitute.com/DC event, you can learn all about that event. We do warn people this workshop isn't for everyone. It really is for business owners or people about to open their own business, because we're going to focus on the marketing and the sales. How do I get more clients? How do I get more boomers and seniors to respond to my marketing? And so myself and Cody are going to be leading this one-day workshop, and we've invited Lisa Wright, who has over 20 years experience as a studio owner and is a baby boomer herself, to speak. And also Josh Carter is going to be speaking on Facebook marketing and really teaching you how you can get baby boomers off of Facebook and into your studio for as little as $10 a day on Facebook. And it's a workshop. So we're going to have about 40 to 50 people. It's not going to be a big conference, and the four of us are going to spend focused time giving you a plan. So this is a business event. It's not a training certification. You can add the Friday Functional Aging Specialist certification to your ticket if you want. So you could do both. Some people want to do both, and that's perfectly fine. So, so you can get full details on that event just by checking out that page. It's just outside DC, right by Dulles International Airport, so it's really easy to fly in, fly out. If you happen to be in the DC area, we're only charging $199 for it. It's cheaper than the personal training certification, and it's going to be a great day. But again, it's really for business owners. So if you're a studio owner, health club owner, or about to become one, strongly encourage you to check out that event. Another event coming up that we are a part of is the East Coast Fitness and Nutrition Conference, and that's eastcoastfitnessandnutritionconference.com. And a number of my friends in the fitness industry are speaking. Craig Ballantyne has been a coach of mine, and here's me. So I'm speaking at this event. Josh Carter is also speaking at this event. And I'm doing the Functional Aging Specialist workshop there again the day before. So if you're looking to get both the Functional Aging Specialist and attend a 2-day business event, you happen to be in Florida. So here we are, the Functional Aging Institute workshop and certification. Another event, strongly encourage you to attend. So why do I believe in events? Why do I speak at events? What I have found is the more I speak at events, the more connected I get to other leaders in the fitness industry. I've known Josh Carter now since about 2010, I believe. Craig Ballantyne as well since 2010, and these guys give me great insights into what's working in the fitness industry, and obviously they've connected me to many other individuals as well. Nissan Trotter, I've known him for a couple of years, spoken at the same event as him in the past. Samantha Taylor, absolute fantastic on sales and closing the deal. So really good event. If you happen to be in the Orlando area, strongly encourage you check out the East Coast Fitness and Nutrition Conference. This is the week before our event in the DC area, so you're probably not going to want to do both of them. So if you're in the DC area, I'd encourage you to attend our event. If you're in Florida, I would encourage you to check out the East Coast Fitness and Nutrition Conference. Obviously, I'll be speaking at both, and I will be leading, personally, I will be the one leading the certification workshop. So, all right, let me open it up to questions. If anyone has any questions that's on live, go ahead and fire those at me now. I've got just a couple more things to wrap up, but I will start taking questions immediately as they come in. For those of you listening on the recording and you're like, oh man, I wish I could ask this question, just email us and me or Celia will get back to you. So you want to email us at contact@functionalaginginstitute.com and say, hey, I'd like to know more about hosting a workshop, or I'm dying to know this about the DC marketing event. Am I going to learn how to get clients from Facebook? You know, whatever your question happens to be, go ahead and email that to us, and Celia or I will respond. So if you're watching this on the recording we will still answer your questions. So go ahead and fire that question to us right now while you're watching this, and we'll get back to you as quick as we possibly can. So for those of you on live, if you have any questions on certification workshops or upcoming events, go ahead and fire those at me. If not, I'm going to close with just a couple things here. So who is the DC event really for, and why are Cody and I putting this on? We have our annual summit in June, which typically is 150 to 200 trainers. And we try to do a mix there of some training tactics, from balance and power to group fitness. You know, this year we had Tai Chi and we had foam rolling, and we had Evan Osar talking about corrective exercise. And so we try to do a mix of both training and then also business, talking about marketing and sales and positioning and branding. But it very much is a 2-day large conference. And we've heard from business owners, we want an actual marketing plan. I want to walk away with done for you, how do I do it steps. And so we felt like it was time to put on a 1-day business workshop where Josh Carter can spend 90 minutes giving you the Facebook tools to start your Facebook ads, to run your campaigns, to build your funnels, so you can actually get clients from Facebook, as opposed to hear someone talk about, oh, I've run Facebook ads and I've got clients from Facebook. We actually want to hold your hand, take you through the process. Lisa is going to take you step by step through what she's been doing this past year to grow her revenues 25 to 40% while actually reducing her training load by as much as 50%. In fact, I talked to her recently and she's training less than half of what she was a year ago, yet her revenues are up almost 40%. And so that's something you want to be able to implement into your business. And so that's really what the DC event is about. And then also we felt it was only fair to bring an event to the East Coast, since people keep saying, hey, when are you going to bring something to the East Coast? Because our summits the last 2 years have been in Phoenix, which we know is quite a trek for those of you in the New York through DC corridor. So we're bringing an event to the East Coast. Again, it's really a focus day for business owners, studio owners, health club owners that want to get more clients. So, all right, again, if you're listening to the recording, shoot us an email, contact@functionalaginginstitute.com with any of your questions, comments. If you want to host a workshop, if you're looking for the next workshop, if you're wondering if the workshop's right for you, if you want more information about the DC event, fire some questions to our email address and we'll respond to those quickly. So I'm getting a question from someone live on the webinar. Tell me more about the Florida conference. Absolutely. So a group of fitness professionals realized that there weren't great business conferences on the East Coast. In fact, a lot of the big fitness conferences do wind up being in California and Vegas. I'm not sure if that's just a location or why that is, but you know, Fitness Business Summit, IDEA, NASM, URSA, a lot of them tend to be in California and or in Vegas. And so these guys said, hey, let's put together a fitness conference on the East Coast. And this one really is focused primarily on business. There are some training tactics and some nutrition things, but you're going to get a lot of how do I build my business? How do I succeed in business? I'm going to be talking about marketing to the mature client. In fact, my topic is how to attract 55 plus women who are the most affluent and have the greatest need for your service. Josh Carter is going to be talking about Facebook marketing, top 7 Facebook hacks to capture more leads and convert them into paying clients. Nissan is a motivational speaker. He's going to be talking about how to overcome your fears. Samantha Taylor, I know, is going to be talking about selling. She is a tremendous salesperson. So it really is a very business-focused conference. It's a 2-day event in Orlando. It's coming up here in just 3 weeks. I know they still have tickets available, and last I heard, they're feeding us quite well. So it's going to be a fun event. It's going to be primarily fitness business owners, personal training studio owners, and FAI can get you a discount, I believe, at registration. If you put in FAI, you get $100 off of the $297 price. So the FAI discount code will get you a pretty nice savings. So again, if you're listening live or on the recording and you're in the Disney World area or you're hurting to go to Disney World, this conference is in Orlando in 3 weekends, and FAI will get you a discount at checkout. So just put FAI in the code. So again, I'm one of the featured speakers. I'm speaking on Friday. Would love to meet you there if you happen to be there. I believe I'm speaking Friday morning. And I'm doing the functional aging specialist all day on Thursday, the 20th. In addition, I believe on Thursday the 20th in the evening that my buddy Chris Severs, founder of Anchor Point Training, is doing a free workshop on Anchor Point training, about a 2-hour workshop. So that's something you could take in Thursday night as well. So any other questions? Yes, so we are absolutely doing the functional aging specialist certification on Thursday, October 20th. We typically run those 9 to 5, though because the conference is hosting it, I'll have to check with them whether it's 9 to 5 or 9:30 to 5:30. It's typically an 8-hour workshop day, and we tend to run it a pretty standard 9 to 5. So, so it's not a grueling workshop, but there's a lot to it. There's a lot of learning, a lot of hands-on. It's not a full-day exercise workshop like some workshops, so you won't come out physically exhausted like you worked out 8 hours, but a lot of great content. Plus, you get the full online course with it. So if you've been thinking about becoming a functional aging specialist, it's a great way to do it. So we already have several registered for that Thursday, so it's going to be a good group. Without seeing any other questions, I think I'm going to call it a day. For those of you, again, listening on the recording, if you have any questions about upcoming events, about the event in Orlando that I'm speaking at, about certification workshops, about our Mature Marketing Mastery Workshop in Washington, D.C., just shoot us an email, contact@functionalaginginstitute.com, and me or Celia will get back to you. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.